What is up, everybody? Welcome, October 1st, y'all. It's a new day in a new month. What's good, everybody? Trying to get my co-host on here, just making sure. Spook time. Oops. This is my co-host right here. Hello. Hi, Naya. I miss you. Let's welcome in October, y'all, by starting to spook these people into wearing some masks. Waiting for my co-host to come on. It's your host, C. Ray Says, on live again. Welcome back for another live. I feel like I've been gone a little bit. I took a little minor break. Oh, hi, Jordan. Ah! I love you, Jordan. Ah! Jordan, are you gonna watch me and Auntie Kiah? So we got a special guest coming on. It's one of our youths themselves, Snake Bean 7. She has a lot of good stuff to say to you guys, so stay tuned. I'm going to get her in here and then we can get started. Hello, Snake underscore Bean 7. How are you? Boom, boom, boom. You would think I would know how to do these things by now. There we go. Bow.
Why is it dark?
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome to my live, beautiful angel.
Hi, Auntie Kelsey.
Hello. How are you feeling today for the live?
Good. I'm pretty excited about what I'm gonna say.
I'm so excited too. I was so excited I couldn't wait for it. Janaea is in the comments. Say hi to Naya.
Hi, Naya.
Janaea and Jordan's there. They came to watch you.
Jordan?
Her little
Hi,
sister.
Jordan. Hi.
Yes. So we'll just get started. I'll introduce you to everybody and then we'll get into the conversation. So this is Kiah, everybody. This is my niece. She's 14 years old and she's coming on today to talk a little bit about her disability, just how we can be mindful to that today, and then body positivity as well as some advice to the other teenagers out there.
Okay.
Yes. So how do you feel? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm totally ready.
Totally ready, yes. So let's talk a little bit about your disability. It's called spinocereballar ataxia.
Spinocerebellar ataxia. It's where a part of your brain doesn't work as well as other parts of your brain and makes you have trouble walking and keeping a straight line and
Yeah.
stuff.
So how do you feel, just so like everyone can understand, how do you sometimes feel about your disability?
Sometimes I feel embarrassed because people are always staring at me like, why is she in a walker? But at the end of the day, I feel confident in myself because remem I just remember that I'm capable enough to do things other people can't do.
Yes. Wow. I want to say thank you so much for that answer. That's so beautiful. And, sometimes we take advantage of the things that we have, right? And we forget that all the possibilities that we can do. So that's a great message to share with everybody that, regardless of our limitations, it only limits us to what we allow it to, right?
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much. Naya said hi, Kiah.
Hi, Naya.
So we wanted to kind of share with the people how we can be mindful to those who have disabilities or who are just different. So with your own experience, how do you think people can be kind to others that are different from them?
In my opinion, I think that giving compliments or even doing a simple thing as just helping really makes a change in their mindsets, and just saying kind words to them.
So is this going to be changing people's mindset, or is this going to be changing the person that's different from others' mindset?
The person that's different from others.
Yes. Which in reality, we're trying to get to a more inclusive space where it's like we're not trying to label people as different, right? Because we're kind of all the same, we're all equal. It's just we may have different features.
Yeah.
Yes. So you said giving them a compliment or even something as helping them out will be
Hmm.
helpful.
Another thing is maybe make them feel that they're normal and they're accepted for who they are, and not, making them feel bad for their disability.
Right. So making them feel accepted and don't make them feel bad because of their disability. Like pretty much don't treat them differently.
Yeah. Don't treat them differently than others.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that. That's a great response. And how does it make you feel when people treat you differently because of your disability?
I think that it's really bad to look at people, especially adults that look at disabled people like they're some other person. I think it's just wrong that adults look at younger disabled people like they're aliens, because they're just normal people and adults should know better.
Yes.
Adults should know better not to stare.
Yeah, I think that it's so great that we're holding this conversation just in regards to disabilities or indifferences. Let's just say indifferences within people, right? Because even something as simple as not staring at somebody, you would think that's something that people would know, but it's something so small that is like such a big change as well that could really impact the person that they're staring at, right?
Yeah, the person that they're staring at might feel embarrassed or insecure. And some people are just kids, so they don't even notice. But it's kind of rude that people just stare at other disabled people like they're not human, because they have feelings too.
Yes, of course. Ah, that's so great. I love all your responses. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
So, if we were talking about we're talking about what you would come on talk and talk about, and you did share that you weren't really comfortable about talking about your disability, but I mentioned to you that there are other people out there, adults, but most especially kids, who may have a disability and who may be fearful to talk about this because they don't feel strong enough, right? So
Yeah.
what would be your message? It's going to be like a three-part question, okay? So
Okay.
first, what would be your message to the other kids out there, or just people in general, who have a disability as far as loving themselves and being confident within themselves?
You shouldn't feel insecure or embarrassed just because someone's staring at you. You should just be like, you should just move on with life and ignore it, because life gives you so many gifts and a disability is one of them, because you're unique, you're different than others.
Yeah.
And I just think that disabled people are better than normal people, honestly, because normal is pretty boring. No one wants to be normal.
Yeah. I like that response. So you're saying to just be who you are and just keep doing whatever it is you're doing.
Don't let the negative comments get to you, is what I'm saying. Because
Yes. Yes.
you're perfect just the way you are. And you don't need anyone to tell you or compliment you or tell you that you're beautiful. It's what's on the inside that matters.
Yes. Yes. And now, if you were going to give advice to pretty much the world in regards to people who are different, out of all the experiences you experience with your disability or just being you as Kiah, and people doing certain things like staring or whatever the case is, what would be your advice as far as just to the people in general to be mindful to
My
others?
My advice to other people is, number one, have a positive mindset, because if you have a negative mindset, you won't get anywhere. And two is, don't let the negative comments or judgments get to you, because as I said, you're perfect the way you are, and you should be able to express yourself without ex- without people accepting you. You don't need to be accepted to fit in. You can fit in by yourself. If people don't like you for you, then drop them. If
Yes.
people don't like you for you and keep talking bad about you, then you should drop them and not be offended by it. Well, of course you would be offended by it, but well, of course you would be offended by it. But like I said, it's what's on the inside that really matters. It's the comment, it's the positive comments that really matter, not the negative ones.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you so much. I'm going to write that down and save some notes because sometimes I have a hard time following that as well, right? Just as humans, but it's always a good reminder to keep positive and love who you are and don't let the negativity get to you. Although it will get to you because it hurts, but we cannot allow it to stop us from anything that we want to do, including loving ourselves.
Yeah, we can think about the negative things, but my advice is to just probably think about the positive things in your life, like all the family value you for who you
Yes, thank you very much. So, there's a couple of new people tuning in, so I just want to remind everybody to use the question box down below if you have any questions for Kiah or have any questions for myself. And Kiah, before we move on, I want to read some of the comments that are coming in for you, okay?
Okay.
So my friend Drowsy, he's from Guam. He does music and he's super, super awesome and amazing. I actually interviewed him last week and he says, I don't see a disability. I just see a strong individual facing a challenge I will never understand fully. Normal is meh, different is amazing.
Unique is what is the number one thing that matters.
Yes, yes. So with that, again, everyone, please use the question box if you guys have any comments or questions. And then Kai, you wanted to talk about, thank you, Kaya, for talking about just your disability and how we can be more conscious to everybody around that may be a little bit different from us. And
I have one more thing to say.
yes.
Whenever you're walking in the mall, people tend to stare at you. Just keep your head high and remember that you're the amazing, unique person you are, because disabilities, we don't know her.
Yes. Keep walking. Keep doing what you do.
Keep doing what you love.
Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you for that. Do you have any more points to talk on that?
Mm, I think that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. So we had a few other topics to talk about. Did you want to talk about body positivity? You said that that was an important topic that you wanted to talk about. You're 14 years old, you're in high school. What was the reason why body positivity was another important topic for you to talk about?
Body positivity, in my opinion, is important to talk about with all that's going on in the world with people saying you're too skinny or you're too fat. You should just be able to walk out of your house without being judged. And I think it's pretty important that people say that, and it's kind of wrong because everyone has feelings too, and everyone is human, and you should just be able to go anywhere and feel confident without being judged. There's no need to feel insecure.
So you're saying that it was important to you. You want people to know that you should be you can just walk out of your house and just be happy with the way you are. We're all different and we all have feelings, so we all need to be conscious as well to how we treat others.
Yeah, treat others how you want to be treated is also an important topic because you're not gonna get anywhere with just saying anything before you think about it. You gotta think about it before you say it because you don't know that the words you say might affect the other person.
Yes, yes, good point to make. Good point to make. And what would be your advice to the people who are being mean to others about their body?
My advice is to just start start being nicer, and you're probably body shaming because you're insecure about your body, but there's nothing to be insecure about because we're all beautiful in our own way. And my advice to the mean people is, what are you body shaming other people for? You are born, you 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 and them have feelings too, and if you're insecure with yourself, it doesn't mean you can just body shame or go get plastic surgery or anything. You gotta learn to love yourself for how skinny you are, how fat you are, how tall you are, how short you are. You gotta learn to love yourself because you're not gonna be happy with plastic surgery. And if you bring others down, it's gonna make you more sadder and not want a future at all.
Yes, thank you for your response. And your advice is for the people who are being mean, for them to be nice. And they're probably being mean because they're ashamed of their own body, which we shouldn't be because we were all made to be beautiful in our own unique ways.
Yeah.
And so, thank you so much for that response. And when we were talking, we were talking about advice that we would give people who weren't strong enough to admit that people were body shaming them, or weren't strong enough to admit that people were teasing them. What would be your advice to the people who are getting like bullied because of their body or being teased at because of their body?
My advice, and by the way, my DMs and Instagram are always open, so feel free to DM me. And my advice for other people is to just ignore the comments you get from negative people and still be nice because you don't know how they might feel about themselves. You don't know what's happening in their household. So my advice is to just ignore the comments and keep being who you are, whether they like it or not. I've learned not to care what other people think about me, whether it's negative or positive.
Thank you very much for that.
So my advice is do not care what they're saying about you because what they're saying about you might hurt, yes, but you should still try to keep a positive mindset because you don't know what the other person is going through. And by saying this, I don't mean that people that are treated poorly should treat others poorly. I'm just saying that you might not know what they're going through. So don't judge a book by its cover.
Yes,
I think
thank you.
it's important.
Yes, thank you very much. So we have some questions coming in, Kai. So before we move on to the next topic, we'll take some questions for you. And then for anybody that is just jumping in, please use the question box down below if you have any questions for Kaya, myself, and Auntie Jean and Uncle Steve are on here. They say hello.
Hello. Thank
So
you
this,
for snap.
yes.
How
So
have
this
you
first
been?
question is from Drowsy as you're reading, and he says, how have you pushed through negative situations?
First of all, I just my advice is not to pretend that you're fine because once you let it all out, promise me it all feels better. And the way I push through negative situations is not to think about it so much. I know it hurts, but when you think about it so much, it just makes you sadder. So my first step for you is not to think about it because once you think about it, then it gets all up in your head like, is that really what they think of me? You just gotta stop thinking, take a breather, and be positive. Try to be positive
I
because
like,
you
go ahead.
No, I'm done.
I like how you said at least try to be positive because it's like sometimes when we're going through a negative situation, sometimes it's challenging to have a positive mindset, but the overall goal is for us to try our best. And like you said, don't think about it so much, but don't also at the same time don't don't ignore it like it's not there. Respect yourself enough to
Yeah.
address it. And for me, I would say like to try our best. And sometimes it's like we have a problem or a challenge, right? Like a challenging situation. And we try to like take it on by doing all these big things. But sometimes we have to like go to what's the next best step for us because we're not always going to be like 100% positive or willing to take on these situations.
My advice, that's actually what I was about to say. Thank you, Auntie Chelsea. Good point.
You're welcome.
My advice is for not to. My advice is be willing to fight back in the negative situations, but also try not to think about it that much because it might get all in your head. Hi, Auntie Norma.
So I understand what you mean. Like we want to address it, but don't think about it too much where it starts getting into your head, where it starts taking over your mindset, right? Where it starts like
Yeah,
troubling you to where you're thinking about it too much and then you're doubting
because
yourself.
because if you think about it too hard and instead it always leads to a bad situation because after you think about it, you start to doubt yourself and then you start to get all down and stuff, and it just makes you not want to participate in anything and become an introvert. That's the advice I give to the mean people is try not think about what you say before you say it, because if you say you should go kill yourself or something, they might actually do it. So think about what you say before you say it because you might just be saying it out of anger, but the other person might think of it as like, does this person really not like me?
Yes, yes. Thank you very much for that response. And there's a couple of more people coming in. So again, if you guys have any questions, please put the butt. It would be nice if you interact with us and ask some questions towards the topics we're talking about. And Miss The Real Norma J says, "Hey, Kaya. Yes, my girl. Red heart."
Who
So
joined?
on to the next question from Alicia underscore XOXOX. Do you have any advice on how to keep someone accountable for their actions? Maybe in this sense of saying mean things to people or treating people differently?
My advice, as I was saying, my advice is to treat them as you would treat God. Like, you don't know what they're going through, so you always have to be nice. You might say you should kill yourself one day, and the next day you find that they're gone and they actually did it because you didn't think about what you said before you said it, and they might actually feel it that way. So always think about what you say and never judge someone just because of their style or how fat or skinny they are. They might come from a poorly household. They might be treated poorly. So if they make mistakes, just treat them like they didn't well, I'm not saying don't treat them like they didn't do anything wrong because they did something wrong, but don't treat them as a dog, like a dog that you would just throw around and say mean things to, because then you're just being a bully and body shaming and just doing everything you can to bring that person down, and bringing other people down is not good. I don't think you should bring people down just because of the way they look or the way they're built. And bringing people down doesn't lead you anywhere. Bringing people down just has you stay in that same position as you were before or go back. Kind of like aging back.
Yes, we want to grow and we want to be able to learn and grow from our mistakes. And if I can answer the question as well, as far as holding people accountable, I think the first step is that when somebody's treating you mean or not nicely, sometimes we don't say anything because we're fearful of
But you
the
should always say
person.
something.
Yes, because we're fearful of that person or we don't want to speak up for ourselves. But I think in order to hold people accountable, we need to let them know, like, hey, I don't feel nice. I don't feel okay that you're talking to me that way. Can you please just talk to me like in a nicer manner? And if it's to the point, if like people are not listening, then you don't need them in your life. So you could just.
And if they don't stop treating you that way, just tell someone or make sure to notify your parent, like, hey, this person or this person is not treating me that nice. And they might get a punishment. Otherwise, if you just leave it alone, then the bullying's gonna get worse up to the point where you don't want to be alive anymore because of that person.
Yes. Uncle Rick's in the comments. He said, say it, Kiah. It's Uncle Rick. I love it.
Hi.
So for you guys just signing in again, because there was a couple people just tuned in. If you guys have any questions or comments, please utilize the question box. Thank you so much, Kiah, for your responses. And do you have anything else to talk about in regards to body shaming and respecting your body?
I think that it's not very nice that people say, that Black trans lives don't matter and Black lives don't matter, because they definitely do matter. And the fact that they're treated a different way because white people judge before they even look at them. The fact that they're judged another way is just horrible, because white people tend to judge before they actually know what the other person is going through. And, they might have a reason they wanted to change, like, for instance, that being a girl was too hard for them, so they turned into a boy. And I just think that white people take that they don't take the news very well. And I think that before you point a gun at a Black person, you should just see what they're holding in their hand first before you pull a trigger. You might not know, because you might not know, and you should never judge. a black person for what they've done, but you don't know. They might have a family to go home to, and you're just ruining it all by making the family sad and killing the black person. White cops think they can literally look at black people and be like, oh, that one's a criminal, or that one is holding a gun. Like, you never know.
Right. Yes, I think it's important for us to be mindful to everybody and to be conscious of the way that we treat people and we talk to people. And yeah, that's a very good topic to touch on.
Like I said, everyone was made equal, and even if they're not the same race as you, you should still treat them like they're a normal person or they're one of you, because the other black person might have a disability or something, and the white cop is bringing them down by, I don't know, doing what they're doing. And I just think racism is wrong, and that black people, black lives do matter. They do matter. They do matter. I'm not saying all lives don't matter, because all lives do matter, but I think black lives matter more than white lives, because black lives literally get shot for no reason. They get all these racist comments like, you're not good enough to be in this world, or I could just shoot you because you're black, but it's not really your skin color that matters, you know? It's what's inside that matters. It's the kind of person you are that matters. And I don't think George Floyd's death was necessary. I mean, of course it was necessary, but it wasn't necessary for the white cops to choke him and him saying, I can't breathe. They should have just let him go unless he was doing a bad thing.
Yes. I agree. It's definitely a challenging time. It's a difficult time for everybody. It's a difficult time in the Black community, and you know, on top of just the protesting and COVID and death, it's just super challenging. But the good thing is that we can continue to try our best to do what we can in the situation that we are in right now.
And move forward.
Praying always helps me a lot, and just sticking together, right? Just sticking together and supporting each other regardless.
Yeah, supporting each other is actually a big thing, because everyone has to have each other's back, like, no matter what. Because what if you're getting threatened or something, and there might not be someone you can talk to about it? You have to have the ability to talk to someone about it, and have the ability to trust them, trust that they're gonna choose the right choice and not just leave it alone.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for those responses. I resonate with all of them, and I appreciate just all your spot on, just amazing answers. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You said you wanted to talk a little bit about motivation and just advice to the young people out there during the times of COVID. So, what kind of motivation can you tell young people out there in regards to keeping positive, or even if they're, you know, even if they're not holding up to being positive, just being okay with where they are during this pandemic?
I would just say that try to keep a positive mindset because this all pandemic will be over soon and you won't be lonely anymore. And if you are lonely, just go in your room and take a couple breathers and try to make friends. But not friends online because you never know who they might be, I mean. But it's also important that it's also important to keep your head up high in a time like this because the pandemic will be over soon. And my advice is to stay inside because coronavirus is not fun to get. And you you might just die while getting it. And some people don't want to take that risk. Some people don't want you to take that risk. You don't want to take that risk of other people getting sick and passing away around you. You don't want to take that risk.
Yes. Thank you very much for your response. We have a couple
Yeah.
of more people again coming in. Of course, utilize the question box if you have any questions or comments for the amazing Kiah. And you wanted to give any motivation, so take it away with any of the motivation. You were giving like good sayings or mantras or quotes and stuff. Any of the motivational, inspirational for the people out there.
First of all, I'd like to say if you feel insecure or if you feel like you don't belong in this world, and you're my age, you should definitely DM a young person like me or Auntie Chelsea because no teenager should be feeling that way unless they're treated poorly. But sometimes when you get treated poorly, it might end up to the best future ever. So my DMs are always open, and to Chelsea's DMs are always open, and keep moving forward because you got this.
Yes, that's the best motivation. So simple, but yet so impactful. Keep going forward because we got this.
Yeah. And if you feel like just giving up in general, DM me or Auntie Chelsea because you never know. The people in your life that you don't know in real life might make you feel better already. Like if I was a teenager and I was DMing Auntie Chelsea, if she wasn't part of my family, like, hey, I need help with this or this, she would already making me feel better because she'd got that one piece of advice that you never knew you needed.
Yes. Thank you, Kiah. That means so much when you offer, your time and your space, and as well as myself, when people know like they can message me that's so nice of you that you're willing to open up your messages to people who know you and safe people on the internet to talk to you about anything that they may be going through because that's a challenging thing sometimes. And sometimes it's like we're not even really like in that space where we can give advice, but I think you're so strong that even if you're going through hard times, you're always going to be there for somebody.
My advice for being there for someone is, first of all, tell your parents. Don't just tell a school counselor because they'll snitch on you, like I did once. But but my but the first step to my advice is never never harm yourself in any way. Never cut lines on your wrist. Never do anything. And if you're in danger or just feel like you're unsafe, you can always DM Auntie Chelsea or me, or even call 911 because you don't feel safe in your own home because someone might be following you or even putting you in danger. But like I was saying, always tell your parent what you're going through. But if you're not ready, you still gotta tell them eventually because you never know. You might feel better talking about it with your parent or talking about it with a close family member.
Yes, thank you very much. And there's so many resources out there where you can call, like if you feel like harming yourself, there's a hotline, the national hotline to that. And there's also a hotline in your local area. If you feel like you need to talk to somebody, if you're going through any like sexual or like physical abuse, sexual abuse, verbal, there's so many resources out there. And the most easiest way I think that you can get in contact with that, 211 is a national hotline where you can call for literally any topic and anything, and they will connect you to the right people closest to you in your area. So that's another good thing to point out. And thank you very much, Kiah, for saying that.
You're welcome. And also, if if you if you encounter a situation where you don't know what to do, as Auntie Chelsea said, call 211 because they'll probably know what to do because they know more than I do because I'm just a teenager. But you can always give me a DM too, or you can text my personal number, which is 801-888-9594. Or just, if you don't feel comfortable with that, you can text Auntie Chelsea or just tell your mom about it is the easiest way to tell your parent about it. It's just the easiest way to cope with it.
Yes. Thank you very much. Everybody, there's a couple more people coming in. They're waving at you. Inspired Janine. Waving, waving. Hello, hello. Uncle
Hello.
Rick, Uncle Rick and Auntie Norma said thank you for the advice, Kiah.
You're very welcome.
And to
And
keep
again, my number is, that is, if you need help, my number is 801-888-9594. Or
yes,
you can tell your parent.
yes, and I will tag you as well on the video so that way people can message you and say hello and talk to you about the experience that they had today on this interview. Um, So what else is there? Is there any final words you want to say to everybody before we go? As far as just anything really, the floor is yours.
Actually, thank you for making the floor be mine. um, because I wanted to make a really good point about what's happening. First of all, it is really sad to say that people sexually get hurt or some people get forced on, and I just want to tell the other person that they should call 911 immediately or tell their closest family member because it is illegal and wrong and you should never do it because it is illegal unless you want to end up in prison, but that's unfun.
Yep, we don't want it. We got to take care of each other and support each other. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Thank you very much, Kiah. To close it out, I always ask everyone the same question, of course. And technically, you're still a teenager. So if you would like to answer the question towards yourself, we can do that. But
Mm-hmm.
I want to see like you being a teenager. You know, sometimes adults, not just towards you, but just in general as a kid, because we're a kid, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes adults like dismiss our opinion or, oh, I'm not even going to say anything. I want you to be able to answer it in your own way, through your own ideas. So what
Okay.
would be your best advice, or what would you ask an adult to do for the younger people? What do you think is important for the adults to know or to help the younger people with?
Um. Uh. Probably try to be, like I said, try to be nicer because you don't know, and because you don't know what they're going through, and my advice for adults is to just not stare, and whenever you see a person rolling a wheelchair on the streets, you should just be friendly. You should be like, hi, my name is da 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 da, you know? And I don't think it's right to, when a disabled person asks you if you want to be friends, I think it's really rude to say no because, first of all, if they've worked up the courage to ask you if you wanted to be friends with them, and all their hard work just went to waste because you said no. But if you say yes, it makes a bigger change in their life because you might feel like you've done a good thing today, and that this person might not feel as awkward as they have reach out to. And I think that I staring is kind of rude, and pointing is rude as well. And even white people that say the N-word, that's really offensive. That's offensive, and you shouldn't do it just because you have, like Joyner Lucas said once in his songs, like Joyner Lucas said in one of his songs, that there's a disconnect between our culture and white people's culture because they're not treated as well, and white people are kind of more privileged than black people because just because they're white doesn't mean that they can have more rights than black people, you know? And I think that black people, my advice for the black people is when one of your white friends says the N-word, drop them immediately because you know that they're not the right person to come through whenever you're having trouble. And that you should get a real friend. Well, the bad thing about white people is they sometimes say the N-word and they don't realize that it's effective to the people around them. So that's why I'm saying you gotta think about what you say before you say it, because you don't even know that it might harm the other person physically or mentally.
Yes.
I think I didn't have breath.
That's okay. Wow, I want to thank you so much for all your responses again. Um, I think that you're just so amazing and I just love who you are and I thank you for being so brave and coming on here and talking about all the topics we talked about.
Anytime. If you want me to come on again, I could come on again if you want and just talk about whatever you want me to talk about.
Yeah, of course. I'm always looking for people to come on. And again, I just want to take space to say good job to you. Thank you very much. I'm not just saying it because I love you, because you're my beautiful niece,
Me
or
too.
any other reason. I know that you were kind of shy with talking about specific things, but once we started talking about other people out there who weren't strong enough, I'm really proud of you that you were able to work on the courage to share your experience and your thoughts for other people who may not be strong enough to talk about it. So,
Yeah, I think it's very good to talk about stuff like this, and it makes me feel really good because it makes me feel kind of sad that there are other people harming themselves just because they're being judged or not feeling good with how they're built or if they have a disability or not. I think it's really, really, really important that it's really, really, really important for you to treat others how you want to be treated because you don't know how the other person feels having a disability. You don't know what's going on in their life. You don't know. So that's don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge disabled people just because they're disabled. And don't stare at them. Be like, what are you, an alien? Because they have feelings too. And you're making them feel bad about the way they were born and making them want to restart their life. But you shouldn't want to restart your life because going back is not gonna take you anywhere. Moving forward is the only thing that matters in life. And being positive.
yes.
Moving forward, being positive, and talking about your parents. Talking to your parents about a lot that's going on in your life because you may think that bullying is fine, but in reality, you actually don't know what bullying is. You don't know the definition of bullying. I'm telling people to commit suicide. You might know not the you might not know the definition of that either. So that's why when I say don't judge disabled people just because of their disability, I mean it. Because don't judge them of how they walk or if they have a walker or not because you don't know the definition of judging if you judge someone. If
Yes.
that makes
It
You
makes
don't know the definition of bullying if you bully someone. You don't know the definition of suicide if you tell someone to commit suicide. It's basically what I'm saying. You don't know the definition of anything, but yet you say it.
Yes, don't say what you don't know and don't judge people for whatever reason that may make them be quote unquote different from others. Thank you so much, Kiah. I appreciate you coming on and being strong enough to talk about who you are and to just give your personal advice on body positivity and motivation and just advice to parents and what to be mindful for when